are back to our P2P series. In this video, what we are going to do is we will track a purchase orders from the starting. That means we will start from the vendor, which is like the prerequisite for raising an order, and then going to the order creation, as in like the requisition basically for what all the items that we are going to buy, then move it into the purchase order, and then probably go into the history as to what all transactions happened against that order and check out some other tables for it. Then we'll go into the invoice that are raised against an order, and then finally we will check and go into payments. So what on the screen what I have is these are the standard tables. So let me just put it as standard tables in SAP. So wherever we go, these tables will always exist irrespective of what all systems or what all the business process that is happening. So in this video we will try to track and link all these tables so that it makes sense to us as to how this order flow is going on, and based upon this only we can create a data model further and then go on into like analysis or anything for that. So what I have in my screen is this is MS SQL Studio, and you can go on and download anything. So if I open my database, I have created a P2P database in which I have all the tables, like whatever tables that I will utilize here, and some other tables are also there that we are going to check on the later videos. So in order to upload your file, you have to go into task, right click on the P2P, go into tasks, and then go on import data. It's pretty straightforward. Let me just don't show this page again. And then based upon what all data source, and it has lot of data source wherein you can like directly out of the box connect to some database, or in our case we'll go with the Excel. So I have this Excel file loaded with me wherein I, for each particular table, I put it into a new sheet of Excel, and then I will just go on and browse it and upload it. This is my file. So once I click on upload and then I go to next, let me check. This is the destination, so I want to create a database for it. This is my server name. So it's basically when you install SSMS Studio, along with that it creates a partition on your drive and install a database. Then I go into next, tells me copy from database, or even I can go on and write a direct query onto this particular Excel file to get the data. These are all the files. So whichever sheets I select, it creates a separate table for it. That's it. I will not click on further, else it will give me error since I've already created it. It's pretty straightforward, you get the idea. And I will link this file in the description, or probably upload it onto my GitHub account. Yep, so let's get started. So the first table that we are going to check is LFB1. This LFB1 table, it stores the vendor and the company code against it. So what company code is, it's like a topmost hierarchy in a company. And if you have seen my videos from past, so I have explained these things in much more detail, so that will make more sense to you. Sometimes it doesn't show you any hint or like auto completion sort of thing. So what you have to do is, this is the connection that you create. So right now I'm connected with the master database. That's why this table helps are not coming. So what I will do is I'll go into P2P. Now when I press LFB1, see now here I'm getting LFB1. You just select this and you can like press F5 if you want, or you can go on and click execute as well. So this is what LFB1 generally looks like. There are lots of different fields, but these are the ones that we will be concerned about. I mean, Most of them are always redundant, but that's fine. So what I'm interested in is this listener. So listener is your vendor number actually, and BUKRS is the company code. So you are able to see like the first listener itself is mapped to lots of different company codes. So that's how it is. These two are the keys in this particular table. So what company code means is I have lots of sister companies or different entities belonging to a company, and this particular 113036 vendor, it does transaction onto all those company codes. So that's how we are linking LF. What I can do is, let me join this. So I'm doing a, if I did join, then it directly means that it's an inner join. So what we are going to do is select star from LFB1, join LFA1 on LFB1 dot listener. That's again your vendor number. LFA1 has all the details of vendor, like what is the vendor name, where it is located, what is the address, telephone number, all those sorts of details exist in LFA1. So what I'm going to do is I will put LFB1 dot listener, comma LFA1 dot name 1. This is the name field for vendor. Or let me do one thing, let me just show you all. LFA1 dot star and LFB1 dot BUKRS. This is nothing but your company code. Okay, we have an error. It's probably because these data types might be different. So that's not an issue. What we can always do is cast this as okay. Although they should be same, probably when uploading these types of things might come up. But when you directly do a query on an SAP database, these sorts of problem will not occur. Here we go. So 113036 vendor has name Joan Tech, or it's in Singapore, things like that. All these details are given into this table. It tells me like when it was last updated, what is the time. Some other blockage indicators are also there. These things and these fields we will check later. We have the user who created this, when it was created, and there are lots of other details in this table. Plus you can always customize these tables, so that is one of the things that you need to be aware of. So what that means is, although these tables are standard, if I want, I can go on and create a new field in LFA1, and that's purely a business requirement. So let me just take name 1, which is the name of vendor, and what I'm going to do is, let me just create a where clause. This is where I'm filtering the data for a particular vendor number. So let me just take the first one, since we have multiple company codes also. So this where LFA1, you can give any of them, else it will give you a error ambiguous field, because it doesn't understand from where it needs to select. Okay, so next we are completed with these two. Next we have purchase requisition table. If you remember, then this is probably the first thing. From here the actual business starts. But remember one thing, that even in case of LFA1, there is no actually EBAN, there is no entries or accounting entries created. This is not a legal document. This is just something telling that I might require all these items. We will join EBAN based on the, again, the vendor number. There are other things in EBAN such as requisitioner as well, which tells who is requesting this order, and then a requisitioner can always be different from a creator. So if I do an inner join, then there is something that exists with this vendor. So let me take it as EBAN.BANFN. BANFN is the field which holds the purchase requisition number. Then I can do I guess it's AFNAM, right? And this gives me the requisitioner. So now if I run it, yeah, so I just created some dummy names for this. So we can see for this vendor which exists in this particular company code, this is the name of the vendor, Jovantech, and the purchase requisition number is this, which is being ordered or requested by this particular guy. So let's take it to a little bit further and join our EKKO table. So EKKO is nothing but the purchase order header. What is header and item? I have explained that in my previous video, so you can kindly go and check that. In EBAN also I have the purchase order number. So this tells me that for what order a requisition is linked. So first, as I raise my requisition, then it gets converted, or rather not converted, but the reference of that requisition is utilized to create an order. So I will always have EBELN dot EKKO EBELN. EBELN is nothing but your purchase order number. Let me quickly also show you what EKKO actually holds. Select star from EKKO. Let's run this. So if you see, this is the EBLN and this is the company code. So yeah, that's a good thing. When we saw the company code, then we have to change this query a little bit. So now the join should occur based on the company code as well. So it's always good to go on and check your data. This is one good thing. So what we are going to do is we will join LFA1, or rather LFB1.BUKRS equals to EKKO.BUKRS. So it gives me specifically for which company code. On all the company codes that vendor existed, I have a purchase order raised for. And you can take some other details for it. Incoterms is also an important concept. We will check those things later. So let's just take the payment terms that exists on a particular PO. So C term is the field for that. Sorry, I missed a dot there. Then PO paid terms. Now let's remove this. Let's run our query. So now you see everything got filtered because for only 12 company code we have the purchase order raised. Now let's even take it a little bit further and join EKPO. EKPO is nothing but your purchase order item table. So this item table will always be joined based on the header table. That's the usual convention, not always. I'm sorry for that. EBELN. So again, I'm using the purchase order number here because that will be the key that exists across both the item as well as the header. So let me just do one thing. EKPO dot, I guess the item number is EBELP. Item. Let me just run this query, see if some data already exists or not. Yeah, that's cool. It's there. Now once I will do is I will show you what EKPO actually holds. So if you see, there are a lot of details in this table. It tells me what order, for what material, what is the name, for which plant it got raised for, what is the company code. Here we can join with company code, but since we already filtered on EKKO, so I don't think there's any point in again filtering for a particular company code. Then what is the quantity for that material, what is the price for that material, what was the total value for that material. So all these details, I have in EKPO. This is pretty important table. I think in any case, this in a star schema, I think this would be your central table for a P2P process. And yeah, so if you want as a good practice, we can always go on and add EKPO dot PUKRS is equals to, I'm sorry, I always forget this, EKPO dot PUKRS. And then let's just take some other fields as well. MATNR is the material number. And then we have EKPO dot, I think it's TXZ01. I don't know if this doesn't select like that. TXZ01. This is the description. Then we have EKPO dot MENGE. This is nothing but the ordered quantity. And then this is nothing but the NETWR is the total ordered value of that particular line item. Total value of line item. This is my ordered quantity. We remove this. Now let's run it. Okay, so we have around there are lots of items for this. Yep, there are 65 items for this particular purchase order. This is the total ordered quantity for this particular number or line item, and this is the total value of that. So let's try to summarize here a little bit. For this particular vendor 113036, belonging to 12 company code, having the name as Joan Tech, we have raised a purchase requisition number which is requested by Jon Snow, and we have got a purchase order created against this particular purchase requisition, having the payment terms of 28 days, and then an item that got created against it is this particular number with this particular material having 90 quantity and 380.79 total value. Now again, let's take it a little bit further, and in order to get what all happened against this particular order, let's just join it with EKBE. Close this off. Open EKBE here. On EKPO.EBELN is equals to EKBE dot, we have the purchase order number here as well, and since we have the line item also, then we should join this table based on line item as well. EKBE dot EBELP is equals to let me just quickly go on and check what all we have in EKBE. So this table is called as purchase order history, and it's a pretty important table. So see, we have PO history here. So it tells me what all transactions happened against a particular order. So like what was the GRN raised, how many of them we got, how many invoices we got, what was the like undelivery, like some delivery charges that happened against it, whether they were planned or not. So these sorts of things, I mean, this is a very detailed table. So we have like what year and like which movement type. What is movement type? Then you have to check on my other videos. Or probably I will create a whole video for this movement type. This is a pretty important concept again. Then what was the reference document, like the number that you get on ground, or some legacy number might be. Then what was the value, what was the quantity, all those details we get in this particular table. The indicator BWTP tells me if that's a GRN or an invoice. So E refers to a GRN document and Q refers to an invoice. And you will always see this null or a blank value against a Q because the movement always against a GRN. So enough talking. Let me show you what we have. Yeah. So we haven't selected any field. The data exists since we got the join, but let's go on and get the EKBE dot, I guess it's, let's see what it is, BELNR, right? So this is your document number. And then EKBE dot BEWTP. This is your indicator. And then EKBE dot Menge is your quantity, and then EKBE dot DMBTR is your value in local currency. If you want to check the document currency, I mean, it can be raised, let's say, to US and I'm ordering it from India. So for those particular cases, or to rather check the exchange rate and everything, we have the value in document currency. Let's quickly change the name, right? So now let's run this. Yeah. So here we have everything. So what we can do is we can create a case statement here. So let's say case EKBE.WEBT. When this is equals to E, then we have the GRN document. Just put doc. And when this is, and there are other values also that are inside BEWTP. Right now we can only see P and Q, probably because I might have put a filter when I was getting the data by creating the dummy data for the system. But so there are other fields, always remember. So it's better to explicitly mention that. And then say end as type of document. Yep. Now let's run this. Okay. So we have all these details. So yeah, see you in the next video. Goodbye. And remember to subscribe and like Data Yogi so I can go on and create this.